Hi everybody, it's Robin from Talks from the Heart. Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about my Daniel Smith watercolors. I am going to show you how I fill a pan, and then we'll kind of time lapse a couple days later after it dries. I had one or two people ask me about this, and I thought, okay, I'll give it a shot. It's pretty, for me, it's pretty elementary, but that's not meant as a put down to somebody else who's starting in watercolors. Also, full disclaimer, you guys, I am not a professional. I put up a video a while back about a set that I got on Amazon, and I said it rivaled Daniel Smith watercolors, and I truly do think that. Now remember, when I say that, I'm just saying the colors rival it. Now, I'm not an artist. I don't care about color fast. I don't care about any of that. And I'm just a novice that likes to, plop watercolors on my paper that I learned from Allie Brown. I will link her channel below. If you're new to the community, then you'll probably want to check it out. And if you're not, you've heard of her and you know all about her doing watercolor plopping, which is basically what got me started. I do not draw things freehand or anything. I'm a total novice slash self-appointed beginner, okay? And that's where this video, I'm just trying to be that to other beginners, okay? So I say this nicely. Please, if I say something wrong, correct in kindness, because I'm always willing to take correction, especially because if you're not, how are you ever going to learn, right? But, don't freak out if I say something and it's wrong, because I truly don't even realize that I'm doing it wrong. I hope that all made sense. All right. I'm thinking about how I want to go about this. So how I keep my tubes of watercolors from Daniel Smith is I just keep them in this little basket in a drawer, and nothing fancy, nothing organized. I did want to show you, this is a brand new 15 millimeter tube. This is a used 5 millimeter tube. So you'll see online when you go shopping for these tubes online, if you see this and it's half the price of the same color, check and make sure, I'm trying to figure out how I want to say that. Check and make sure that you're buying equal size, if that makes sense. So a 5 millimeter tube may be $7. I'm throwing a number out there. And a 15 millimeter tube may be 18. So you just want to be super careful that you're watching your product descriptions, okay? So that is the size difference. I will tell you that depending on the size pan, and we'll get to that in a minute, a 5 millimeter tube will do you just fine, especially if you're trying the color. You may not bond with the color. You may be like, that wasn't worth the money. And so that's kind of a good tip. I know a lot of people will start out with smaller tubes. Me, dude, I just go straight in, deep end. That's my style. And, I'd rather just buy it, the big size tube, and be done. All right, the tins, however, there's a couple of different things that you can do with the tins. I get these off Amazon. I will link everything below. It's all affiliate links, and I'll note that in the description box below. This is my original one. That's a custom vinyl, like Pookie Bear Cuties, and I'll link her shop below. She does names. I think she still does them. I don't know. You can ask. I always say all they can say is no, right? And so this is my original one where I started. This is my original one. These are full pans, all right? And I always create like a color palette here, and then I mono adhesive the paper to the lid, and then when I open it, I always put it like this. So I always put something on top so I know it's, right side up, and then I open it like this. Oh, I just shut it. Okay, I open it like this, and that way all the colors match where all the pans are. Okay, so this one just fell out because it's hasn't been used in a while. All right, I just did a big flub and had it upside down, so I'm editing. Let's see if I can get it right. So I always have a vinyl here that shows right side up, and then when I open it, the color palette here will match. I actually probably switched. I'm keeping it real here, you guys, at Talks from the Heart. Because you know what? I'm just, it's all about having fun and enjoying our craft, right? So then French Ultramarine will be right here, and it'll be right here. And when I watercolor, I traditionally, because I don't want to guess what color I'm laying down, I traditionally will set them on the desk like this in front of me. And that's how I work. Or if I have something to prop it up, I'll just prop it up against something, and that way I'll know what color I'm putting my brush into. All right, so you can see this has seen better days, but that's okay. It's just about seeing the colors. Okay, so these are full pans, and I bought it like this. It fits 20 colors, and you can see this is kind of dried out, and I just plop it back in there because it's no big deal. And I bought half pans. Okay, and I'm just making sure I'm checking my label. Yeah, half pans. And this is the size difference. Let me pull out one. That's the size difference between a full pan and a half pan. Okay, so maybe it goes like that. I don't know. But you can see that with this one, so this purchase came with all full pans, and at the time I thought, oh, I have enough, no big deal. I should have known myself better. All right, so that is my first initial palette. Okay, now when I moved into my Journal on the Go pouch, I tried to carry both of these with 20 and 20, and then I had a light bulb moment. Okay, and so I got this for my birthday, actually, this tin. This vinyl I got at a local bookstore, and it doesn't even have a name on it, so I can't even tell you guys where to get it. And what I did was I purchased from Amazon half pans. They come with the pans and the magnets, and I made the same size tin double in size, because I wasn't carrying all my, I wanted to carry all my colors with me. That's just something that relaxes me, knowing I have all my choices in front of me. Some people aren't like that. I am. And so then I just replicated where all the pans were. I don't group things by color families. I just group them as I buy them. And so I just divided everything into 40. And then just made my color palette, like my key, for this. Okay, so I took same tin that was holding 20 and made it hold 40 by switching out the pans. And so I think you can buy these tins with 40 half pans, or you can buy them with 20 full pans. Watch your descriptions. I will link my exact purchases in the description box below. I got them off Amazon. Now, the one thing that I do when I start with a new color, and I've got hair everywhere, okay, is I pull out the pan. So I prepped it with the magnet. I pull out the pan, and I always write facing me. So if I was having the color palette this way, I always write the color name on the actual pan, and that's because if it ever goes empty, I know exactly what color to put back in there. So my new colors are English Red Earth and Raw Umber. Oh, and let me just stop 1 second because I want to show you guys this. The other thing that keeps me organized is I have a B6 insert. So I used to be in a B6 moons ago, and I used to carry all my inserts with all my stuffs. in the same TN, and I don't do that anymore. So, but I do have this. It's something I made when I bought the color sample chart from Daniel Smith. So I'll link that below too, because that was the best I think it's like $22 I spent, because it allowed me to do a color chart on every single color that Daniel Smith currently carried at the time with that color chart. I love this thing. So I mark with a sticker, a bow, or a star every time I buy a color. And that is the best money I've spent regarding my watercolor collection. So if I have, if I get a hankering to buy a new color, or, you know, I get money I want to spend on a new watercolor, whatever the case may be, I immediately go to this and I start looking. Okay, am I heavy on purples? Yeah, because I gravitate towards that color. I'm not heavy on yellows because that's really not, I like yellow. It's not really a color that I gravitate towards. Now, I totally get that if you're really, really schooled in this, you can mix colors and make colors. Yeah. I don't want to spend my time doing that. That's just me, okay? I have not invested the energy into learning how to do that. I actually think that that is quite amazing when people can do that. I also don't have white so that I can minimize the color, like make it fade a little bit. A lot of people do that. And there's also colors I've not purchased because they're really expensive. And I'm like, ooh, I can't do it yet. Like, the one color that I really, 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 really want is Potter's Pink. I have no idea why. It's just gorgeous, and I love it. I also like Imperial Purple. And so this is Tomoe River paper. This is a Tomoe River paper insert. And I always try to work on Tomoe River paper. So this is a good example of how it's going to look when I lay it down on my pages. So let's see. Did I mark? So like I wasn't near stickers, but I wanted to mark that I purchased these. And did I mark English Red Earth? Yep, I did. So I marked it with a star, so at least I know that I have it. And raw umber, and then I got raw umber. Go figure that I've never purchased raw umber. You know, it's kind of one of those colors that everybody purchases, and I don't know, it kind of looks a little boring to me, but we'll find out. No big deal. It wasn't expensive in my opinion. And so this is where I keep all my swatches, and I just keep all of my other stuff swatched here. So like watercolor pencils, and then I started doing fountain pens, and I'm not very good at that, but I want to be. But yeah, so that is how I keep track of what color I want to maybe purchase, or not how I keep track of what color I want to maybe purchase. It's how I keep track of the colors that I actually own, and that way I don't double up on something. Because, you know, we are creatures of habit, and if you gravitate towards pink, I can guarantee you your palette's going to end up with a bunch of pink. All right, so that said, I always write the name on the side of the pan. So this is English Red Earth, and I'll do that real quick. English Red Earth. And then raw umber. Kind of excited to try this. And I use a Pilot Ultrafine Permanent Marker. I would highly suggest you use a permanent marker. And then I put it back in before I fill it. And the reason I do that is because it's easier to keep track of this big pan while it's drying than it is to keep track of teeny weenies. But you do you, okay? So this is English Red Earth. And you want to kind of, I personally would just kind of open it away from that. See how it's kind of globbing? Open it away from something you don't want English Red Earth all over. And then I probably should move, and let me get you scrolled in. All right, then I start kind of in a corner, and I squeeze slowly and gently, and then I let it fill in the corners. Now it's gonna, when it settles, it's gonna settle down, so it's not gonna be as full looking. And then I just stuck my finger in this. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. All right, and then just cover it back up. Oh my goodness. All right, and then I just kind of throw it in the bucket for later use when I'm ready to refill. And then I just leave it like that. I'm gonna take my rag here and kind of wipe it off. And then I do the same thing with raw umber. Kind of open it away from, I just don't want raw umber dropping into another color. And then just squeezing, and and then just kind of letting it squeeze slowly and let it settle into the corners, and then kind of tip it off there. Okay, so now we're gonna wait. And I'm gonna tell you that in my experience, in my environment and climate, it can take up to 3 days for these two colors to get rock hard, where I can tap it and it's dry. Now I've had people ask me, my watercolors are drying and cracking. Again, not an expert, but let me tell you, it's a watercolor, so I don't really think that matters. I guess it wouldn't for me. I mean, just because you're just gonna add water to it, you're not losing color if it's dry. But again, if I am 1000 technically incorrect, somebody will probably correct me under this video. All right, so we'll see you in a couple of days. The one thing that I forgot to add is try to put this somewhere where it's going to be away from a lot of dust and activity, because you know you want it to dry without stuff falling into it. All right, everybody, I'm back. I was in my Princess Planner room filming another video, and I thought I'm just going to check the watercolors, and you can see here how they're matte and they're not hard. They're a little bit more, they're a little spongy looking, but they're dry. They're dry to the touch, so I am going to finish this video. Now, normally in different climates, it'll take longer. This only took a day. And in the summertime, I can tell you that I've had my, even with the AC on, I've had my watercolors out for 2 to 3 days. And so this is really unusual for me, but we're gonna go for it. So we're going to swatch it here. And actually, I did not label the thing here. So I'm gonna do that. English Red Earth. And then Raw Umber. Okay. So I've got an Arteza little watercolor brush with the water in the barrel, and I just have it handy, so we're just going to use it. And okay, these give out a lot of water because I want my swatch really dark and rich looking. And the reason I do that is because if I water this down, I want it to know mostly what it's going to look like at its most richest. That makes sense? All right, so Raw Umber. Ooh, I like the Raw Umber a lot. I can see why people get that color. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna squeeze some water out of this and just kind of clean it. And then I'm gonna cap it. Okay, so let's scroll in a little bit here and show you what is happening. All right, so the English Red Earth really is beautiful, but it kind of, I don't know, it's similar to the quinacridone burnt orange, but the Raw Umber is definitely something that I don't have a lot of. I don't have a lot of color choices in the browns, you can see. But then, so that's it. And then I just tap it and I use it. All right, I hope you guys had fun watching this video, and I hope that it you know, gave you some ideas or helped you with some tips. I'm not sure how much I helped with tips, but all right, so that's how I fill my watercolor pan. All right, so thank you so much for watching, everybody. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and always enjoy today. Bye.